On this episode, I'm going to finally talk about logo design and how you can design your own logo. In order to design a logo, you need to know what is a logo for. You can say that a logo has a lot of functions. A logo can differentiate you from the crowd, a logo can make you stand out more, or a logo can tell a deeper story or a deeper philosophy about your company. In order to design a logo, there are 3 simple steps. It's simple, but it's not easy. Number 1. What story do you want to tell through your logo? Number 2 is sketching. Number 3, finally, is to digitize it. Number 1. What is the story that you want to tell through your logo design? The reason why I put what story do you want to tell is because a logo not only differentiates you from your competitors, it also tells the target audience, the customers that you want to have, a deeper story about your company. You can tell a story through your logo about how you came up with the name of your company. Like say for example, Lacoste. Lacoste, it shows a crocodile, which is a name for the CEO of Lacoste, because when he was golfing and his golfing buddies call him Crocodile because of his relentlessness in the field. Or you can tell the story of your company's philosophy. Let's say for example, World Wildlife Fund. From the logo, you can tell that the panda is actually disappearing. They use a very smart design gimmick called negative space, where you can see that it kind of looks like the panda is disappearing into the whiteness and fading away. And that tells the story of pandas are going extinct and a lot of other animals are going extinct as well. Will you help us in our mission to save these endangered species? Or you can tell what your company believes in the most, like let's say fast delivery, FedEx. If you look closely, FedEx logo, it has an arrow right between the E and the letter X. That shows that FedEx is all about rapid delivery, fast delivery. So what story do you want to tell? Ask yourself that, and then we'll move on to the next step. Number 2, sketching. Now sketching, you have to draw on paper first. You can do this on the train, you can do this on the toilet, you can do this anywhere that you find convenient and feel that your mind is empty to think about what your company needs to be presented with. What type of graphic, what animal do you want to be represented with, or what type of shape that defines like a solid structure that you want your company to follow and have a solid foundation. The purpose of the sketching part of the process is to find many various ways of communicating that story that you did in part 1. There are so many ways to communicate visually. So after you've done like hundreds of comps and sketches, you have to boil down into 3 and then finally into 2, and then you have to make the executive decision of what is the one graphic that is going to represent the whole of your company. The graphic best tells the story, is easily readable, and is very memorable. A tip for designing and sketching logos: make sure that it fits in a 1-inch square. The reason why you want to draw in a 1-inch square, it is because when you are outside and you see the shops from like a few hundred meters away, it is optically the same distance as though when you are drawing like a few inches away and you're drawing on your table. If you draw in a 1-inch square, automatically it means that your company's logo can be readable from a few hundred meters away. And finally, step number 3, digitizing. Put it on your computer. Let's say for example you scan it inside your scanner and then you go to a vector software. I use Adobe Illustrator, but you can use free softwares such as Inkscape and Vector. And what you want to do is to outline and create a vector shape, tracing your sketch. There are millions of tutorials out there on YouTube and Vimeo that is going to teach, and they explain far better than I ever can about digitizing and vectoring your sketch. Add some color to it, export into a vector file. A vector file basically is like an image file where you can scale up and down, like scale into the size of a billboard or scale into the size of a business card's logo without it losing any quality. This doesn't go for raster files, which are basically images, pictures. Those cannot scale up very well. You need a very expensive camera to take a photo that is usable for a very big billboard. Raster images, basically, they are pixel based. You cannot scale it up and down without it losing quality. Vector graphic files, they are scalable without it losing quality. And then you're done. That is your logo. You can send it up to a designer to put your logo onto like business cards or like merchandise or your packaging. The most important step that I urge you to spend a lot of time on is the storytelling. What story do you want to tell and how are you going to tell it? What type of graphic is going to resemble the story that you want to tell?